The doorbell notification lit up my phone at 6:43 a.m. on a Tuesday. Most people would be surprised to find their brother standing at their door this early, but I've been expecting this since his wife, Sarah, kicked him out last week. Mike stood there in his designer suit, two expensive suitcases at his feet, practicing what I recognized as his helpless face in my doorbell camera. The same expression he'd used when he needed money for his sure-thing investments or when he'd gotten caught dipping into clients' escrow accounts. My phone buzzed with Mom's message. "Let him in, sweetie. He needs family right now." I watched through the camera as Mike rang the bell again, then pulled out his phone. Right on cue, Dad's number flashed on my screen. "Lisa," he said without greeting, "your brother's at your door." "I can see that," I replied, watching Mike adjust his Rolex, the one he bought the day before his real estate license got suspended. "And he can see the no trespassing sign I installed last week." "This is ridiculous," Dad huffed. "You have a perfectly good spare room." "I have a perfectly good lease agreement too," I reminded him. "The one you and Mom insisted on making ironclad 6 months ago. Remember? Business is business, Lisa. We need everything legal and proper." Through the camera, I watched Mike try to peer through my windows. The new security film, installed after I'd heard rumors of his gambling debts, turned them into mirrors. He saw only his own desperate reflection. "Your mother and I own that house," Dad's voice hardened. "We can decide." "You're my landlords," I corrected. "And the lease you made me sign specifies single occupancy. No subletting, no long-term guests without written permission. You were very clear about that when you thought I might let my college friends stay over." My phone chimed with another text from Mom. "Family helps family." I typed back, "Yes, like when you helped Mike hide money from his wife, or when you helped him cover up the missing client funds." That earned me a moment of silence. Mike had given up on the windows and was now trying his old key, the one I'd had the locks changed on last week when I heard through the grapevine that he was planning to crash with family. "Lisa," Dad's voice turned pleading, "he's going through a rough time." "A rough time of his own making," I replied, watching Mike's frustration grow as the key didn't work. "Did you know he took out a second mortgage on Sarah's dream house to cover poker debts?" Without telling her. More silence. "Or that he's been using client deposits as his personal gambling fund?" "Because Sarah's lawyer has proof of all of it." Through the camera, I watched Mike pull out his phone, probably calling our sister Jenny, the next stop on his enabler tour. "He just needs a few months," Dad tried again. "Until things settle." "Until his court date," I corrected. "Until the real estate board hearing. Until his wife's lawyer finishes tracking down all the money he hid." Which timeline are we working with? The doorbell rang again, more insistently this time. Mike's helpless face had morphed into something harder, more entitled. "I'm calling the police," I said calmly. "He's been served with a no-contact order for the property." "You wouldn't?" Mom's voice joined Dad's on the line. Apparently I was on speaker now. "He's your brother. And Sarah was his wife. Those people were his clients. Having shared DNA doesn't excuse fraud." Mike was pounding on the door now, his designer suit wrinkled, his careful facade cracking. "Open up, Lisa. I know you're in there." I pressed record on the doorbell camera as I dialed 911. "Yes, I'd like to report someone attempting to enter my property against posted warnings and a legal order." Mike's face changed as he heard the dispatcher's voice through my doorbell speaker. For the first time, real fear replaced the practiced helplessness. "You can't do this," he shouted at the camera. "We're family." "Family doesn't steal from family," I replied through the speaker. "Family doesn't use family as human shields against consequences. And family definitely doesn't show up uninvited expecting to be bailed out." Again. I heard police sirens in the distance. Mike heard them too, his face paling as reality finally caught up with him. "Mom," he pulled out his phone. "Lisa's calling the cops." "You're making a mistake," Dad warned me. "No," I said firmly, "I'm finally fixing everyone else's mistakes. The ones you and Mom covered up, the ones Sarah suffered through, the ones his clients are still discovering." The police car turned onto my street. Mike's survival instincts finally kicked in, and he grabbed his suitcases. "This isn't over," he threatened the camera. "Actually, it is," I replied, "and I have it all on video." As he rushed to his car, I addressed my stunned parents. "I love you both, but this ends now. No more enabling." No more using my home as his escape hatch. No more pretending his crimes are just rough patches. He'll have nowhere to go, Mom pleaded. He has plenty of places, I corrected. Jail if his clients press charges. Divorce court to face Sarah. The gambling addiction center he should have checked into years ago. But my spare room isn't one of them. The police pulled up just as Mike's car screeched away. I sent them the video footage and filed a report. Better to establish the paper trail now. My phone exploded with family messages. How could you? He's your blood. Family stands together. I typed one response to the family group chat. Yes, family stands together. With Sarah, who trusted her husband. With the clients who trusted their realtor. With the truth even when it hurts. That's what real family does. Then I muted the chat, made coffee, and sat in my quiet, peaceful home. The home I protected from becoming another chapter in Mike's endless book of escapes. My security system chimed with a new message, this one from Sarah. Just saw Mike speed past my house. Thank you for being stronger than we were. Some family bonds need to break before they can heal. I smiled and settled into my morning routine, grateful for my doorbell camera and the boundaries it helped me enforce. Sometimes the best family moments are the ones where we finally say no. The fallout was immediate and nuclear. By noon, Aunt Patricia had posted a thinly veiled Facebook status about heartless siblings and Christian forgiveness. Uncle Tom, who'd lost 20 grand in one of Mike's investment opportunities, was the only one who liked my response. Forgiveness doesn't require a spare key. The family WhatsApp group split into two factions. Team Blood is blood versus Team Actions have consequences. Jenny, our younger sister, straddled the fence until Mike tried to use her address for his court papers. Suddenly, she understood my security camera investment. He showed up at 2 a.m., she called to tell me. Said he just needed a mailing address. Then I found him photocopying my bank statements. Let me guess. I said he had a foolproof investment opportunity. A crypto thing, she sighed. Said he could triple my money before his court date. I was updating my home security system when Mom appeared with her signature peace offering, lasagna and guilt. Your brother's sleeping in his car, she announced, sliding the pasta onto my counter. No, he's not, I replied, pulling up the booking website. He's in county lockup. Sarah's lawyer finally found offshore accounts. Mom sank into my kitchen chair. How much? $800,000. Mixed with client funds, hidden under shell companies. He was planning to run before the divorce was final. The lasagna sat untouched as Mom absorbed this. Her phone buzzed, probably Dad with more family crisis updates, but for once she ignored it. When did we go so wrong with him? She whispered. When you made excuses instead of boundaries, I said gently. When every consequence had a parental parachute attached. We thought we were helping. You were, just not in the way you meant to. My doorbell camera pinged Aunt Patricia this time, holding what looked like church pamphlets. I pressed the intercom button. The property is under surveillance and you're not on the approved visitor list. I'm your aunt. And this is private property with a legally posted no trespassing order. The police have been very clear about enforcing it. She left the pamphlets in my mailbox. They were printouts about the prodigal son, with like Mike, written in the margins. I added them to my growing file of family manipulation attempts. Sarah called that evening. Mike's lawyer quit, she said without preamble. Something about unpaid fees and misrepresented assets. Let me guess. The family's taking up a collection. Jenny says your mom's been calling everyone about legal defense funds. I checked my email. Sure enough, there was a GoFundMe link from Mom. Support a brother in need. The description painted Mike as a victim of circumstance, a good man caught in bad times. It conveniently omitted the fraud, the gambling, and the attempted escape with stolen money. They're enabling him right into a longer sentence, Sarah sighed. Not through my address, they're not. That resolve was tested the next morning when Dad showed up at my office. He aged a decade in a week, his usual confident realtor smile replaced by worried lines. The police found more accounts, he said, slumping in my visitor's chair. Some of them have my signatures. My heart sank. Forged? He wouldn't meet my eyes. He said there were investment documents for client properties. Dad. I didn't read them carefully. He's my son. I trusted. I pulled up my lawyer's contact info. Call her. Now, before this gets worse. Your mother doesn't want legal involvement. Mom doesn't want reality involvement, I corrected. Call the lawyer. He made the call. By evening, we had a clearer picture of Mike's web. He used Dad's reputation and signatures to secure loans, then gambled away the money. When clients asked questions, he forged documents and shuffled funds. The family group chat exploded again. Lisa's making it worse. Why involve lawyers? Family handles things privately. I posted one response. Fraud handles things privately. Family faces truth together. Then Jenny called, crying. Mike convinced me to co-sign a loan last year. For his business. How much? $40,000. The bank just called it in. I connected her with my lawyer and added another camera to my security system. That night, Mom showed up again. No lasagna this time. Your father's talking about turning himself in, she said accusingly. This is what happens when family doesn't stand together. This is what happens when family enables fraud, I corrected. Dad's doing the right thing. He could go to jail. Better a short sentence for cooperation than a long one for conspiracy. She left angry, but I noticed she took the lawyer's card I offered. The next day, Mike's face was in the local news. Local realtor charged in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. The article mentioned family connections and ongoing investigations. Dad called from the lawyer's office. We're cooperating fully, he said, sounding tired but clearer than he had in weeks. Your mother? She's starting to understand. About time, I replied. My security system pinged again. Mike's old poker buddies, probably looking for their money. I sent the footage to the police. Sarah texted. The prosecutors found everything. Trial dates set. I looked around my peaceful home, grateful for every lock, camera, and boundary I'd installed. The family chaos couldn't touch me here. Jenny showed up that evening with boxes. Mind if I crash in your spare room? Just until the loan stuff gets sorted. Actually, I do mind, I said gently. But I'll help you find a good apartment and a financial advisor. She looked surprised, then relieved. You're right, no more family band-aids. Mom's final text that night read, maybe we should all get security cameras. I smiled. Sometimes protection isn't just about keeping bad things out. It's about keeping good boundaries in. The trial came faster than anyone expected. I sat in the courtroom, watching Mike in his orange jumpsuit, a stark contrast to his usual designer suits. The evidence was overwhelming. Forged documents, hidden accounts, client testimonies. Each revelation made Mom flinch. Dad had taken a plea deal for his unwitting role, receiving probation and a fine. His testimony about Mike's manipulation of family trust was particularly damning. The prosecutor built a clear picture. A serial fraudster who used family connections to build credibility, then exploited that trust for personal gain. 10 years, the judge announced, with restitution payments and mandatory counseling. Aunt Patricia stormed out, muttering about blood betrayal. Jenny stayed, finally seeing our brother clearly. Mom cried silently. Dad just looked relieved. The truth was out, and his part in it was over. After the sentencing, Sarah approached me in the hallway. Your security footage, she said quietly, showed premeditation. Him trying to establish residency at your place before fleeing. That's what convinced the judge to go with the maximum sentence. My doorbell camera had caught more than just attempted trespassing. It had documented desperation turning into criminal intent. The family dynamics shifted dramatically in the following weeks. The enablers retreated, their usual excuses hollow against court transcripts. The victims found their voices. Uncle Tom started a support group for people affected by financial fraud. Jenny became passionate about financial literacy. Mom underwent her own transformation. I found her removing old family photos from her walls one day. I'm not hiding them, she explained. I'm seeing them differently. Look at this one. It was 5 years ago. Mike stood beaming, showing off an expensive watch. Now we knew it was bought with client money. Every gift, every grand gesture, Mom said softly, was built on lies. We celebrated his crimes without knowing it. My security system pinged, another family member testing my boundaries. This time it was Cousin Pete, one of Mike's former poker buddies. No exceptions, I said through the intercom. The property is monitored. I just need to crash for a few days, he pleaded. Like Mike needed to. No. He left, but not before my cameras caught him trying to peek through windows. Some lessons take time to spread through a family. Dad called that evening. We're selling the beach house, he announced, using the money for restitution payments. The beach house, Mike's favorite party spot where he'd entertain clients before stealing from them. It felt fitting. Also, Dad continued, we're transferring your house into your name completely. No more family property complications. It was the final admission that boundaries matter more than blood ties. My lease would become a deed, my rental agreement transformed into full ownership. Sarah and I met for coffee weekly now, bound by our shared experience of choosing truth over family pressure. She brought pictures of her new apartment, proudly showing off her security system. I learned from the best, she smiled. The family WhatsApp group dissolved, replaced by smaller, healthier connections. Those who enabled found themselves increasingly isolated. Those who stood for accountability grew stronger together. Mom's last attempt at old patterns came 6 months after the sentencing. Mike's attorney says he could get house arrest if he had a stable address. No, I said firmly, showing her my new property deed. My house, my rules. I had to try, she admitted. Old habits. Form new ones, I suggested. She did. She joined a support group for parents of adult addicts, learning the difference between love and enabling. Dad focused on rebuilding his reputation through honesty and restitution. Jenny paid off her loan and started teaching financial workshops. My security cameras kept watch, but fewer family members tested them now. The boundaries had become clear, respected if not always understood. 1 year after the sentencing, I received a letter from Mike. The cameras weren't cruel, they were clarifying. You saw me clearly when no one else would, including myself. I filed the letter away, not needing to respond. Some truths speak for themselves. My house stood peaceful, protected not just by technology, but by the harder security of clear boundaries and consistent consequences. Family love, I'd learned, sometimes looks like a locked door and an active security system. The last family member to test my resolve was Aunt Patricia, trying one final guilt trip. Jesus forgives, she preached through my intercom. Yes, I replied, but he still died with thieves on separate crosses. Sometimes the hardest boundaries are the most necessary ones. My cameras kept watching, my doors stayed locked, and my family slowly learned that love doesn't require access, it requires respect. 2 years after Mike's arrest, my security cameras caught their final family drama. It wasn't Mike this time, but his former business partner, Tom, standing at my door with the same desperate smile and designer luggage. Just a few days, he pleaded to my doorbell camera. Until my investment pays off. I played back Mike's old footage side by side with Tom's on my smart screen. Same stance, same story, same scam. But this time, the whole family watched it unfold in our new group chat. Boundaries and security. He tried my house first, Jenny texted. My cameras caught him testing my windows. Mine too, Sarah added, sharing footage from her system. Same pitch about investments. Mom, who'd finally traded her casserole diplomacy for camera clarity, wrote, I sent it to his parole officer. He's not supposed to be contacting any of Mike's old associates. The transformation in my family hit me then. 2 years ago, they called my cameras cruel. Now they shared security footage the way others shared recipes. That evening during our monthly family dinner, now held at Sarah's fortress-like new home 3 doors down from mine, Aunt Patricia made her final stand against what she called our electronic walls. Family shouldn't need appointments and cameras, she insisted. Dad, who found peace in retirement once he stopped being everyone's emergency escape plan, smiled. Family shouldn't need locks either, but Jesus still rolled a stone in front of this tomb. The room went silent, then laughter, real, healing laughter, broke out. Even Patricia cracked a smile. Later that night, I received another letter from Mike. Unlike his previous messages, this one came with security footage from the prison visiting room. I watched the cameras here every day. Seeing myself through those lenses finally showed me what you saw that morning at your door. Not a brother in need, but a con man counting on family guilt. Your cameras told the truth when everyone else was telling comfortable lies. I shared the letter in our family chat. Mom replied with a photo of her newly installed doorbell camera, Truth Lens installed. Jenny, who now teaches seminars on financial boundaries in the digital age, posted her latest class photo. In the background, a familiar security footage still, Mike at my door that morning, served as both a warning and a lesson. Your cameras didn't just protect your space, Sarah told me over coffee. They protected all of us from our worst instincts. The instinct to enable, to excuse, to look away. The final test came during Christmas. The family gathered at my house, all properly invited, all clearly recorded. Under the tree, Dad distributed small packages to everyone. Security cameras, he announced, pre-programmed with all our addresses, because family doesn't just share DNA. We share wisdom. Aunt Patricia opened hers last, tears mixing with laughter. Does this mean I have to make appointments to deliver cookies now? No, I smiled. It means you'll know if the person at your door really wants cookies or just your spare room and bank account. The footage from that Christmas party shows a different family than the one from 2 years ago. In the crystal clear digital images, you can see the change. Faces more relaxed, boundaries more natural, love more honest. Mike's last letter arrived on New Year's Eve. The cameras never lie. I wish I'd learned that before prison taught it to me. Keep watching, keep recording, keep telling the truth. I saved the letter in my files next to the first security footage that started it all. Some families pass down photo albums. Mine passes down camera footage, records of moments when we chose truth over comfort, boundaries over guilt, and real love over easy lies. My doorbell chimed, Sarah and Jenny, right on time for our weekly dinner. Their faces smiled at my camera, and I smiled back. Because sometimes the clearest view of family comes through a security lens.